Greetings guys, it's Kazor. Welcome back to another episode of IWHY, I Will Hunt You. In our previous episode, we talked about Magnamalo and how to beat him. This time, we will be talking about Goss Harag, the Limb Reaper. Goss Harag is a large fanged beast that was first introduced in Monster Hunter Rise. It resembles a mix of a bear and an amehage from Japanese folklore. This monster can manipulate ice and will create ice blades to cover its arms when angry. Goss Harag will mostly use its arms to attack, while rarely performing moves with its body and head, similar to other fanged beasts in the franchise. Before getting to its moves and how to beat it, let's start with its elemental and status weaknesses as well as its weak points. Our element of choice when fighting Goss Harag is fire, followed by thunder. It is immune to all other elements. For status effects, everything works against Goss Harag, with Blast being a little more effective than the rest. As for Blight, Fire Blight is the best against it. Now, let's get to its weak points or hit zone values. When using severing or blunt damage, you should aim for its Ice Clamp, which is any of the weapons created by its Ice Breath, followed by its head and foreleg. As for projectile damage, go for its head first, followed by its Ice Clamp and foreleg. Goss Harag has 3 breakable parts. Its head, left foreleg and right foreleg can all be wounded. Its ice weapons can be broken in half and after having dealt enough damage, completely removed, flinching it and having it fall on the ground. Let's bring our potions, traps and nullberries, eat our dango, and head out for the hunt. Let's break down the moves we will be facing when fighting this beast, starting with its roar. Goss Harag stands on its back legs and roars loudly, confirming that your presence has been noticed. Its other roar is when it is angry, accompanied with its hands turning red. Whenever Goss Harag roars angrily, it will try to coat its hands with ice weapons. Let's continue with all of its moves, starting with the weaponless ones. The shoulder bash. Goss Harag leans forward, exposing its back towards the target, then swiftly moves in a very small distance. It is similar to most Wyvern's hip check. If this move connects, it will deal little damage and will knock you down. The ground pummel. Goss Harag places one of its arms way behind its body, then charges towards its target, trying to connect a heavy rake. This move deals medium damage and will send you rolling. If you manage to dodge this, go after it immediately, as it will slide on the ground for a bit, allowing you to deal some damage. If Goss Harag is angry, this move will be cast twice. The ground smash. Goss Harag punches the ground 2 times in an attempt to strike its target. This move is relatively quick and it looks similar to the ground pummel at first. Be ready to dodge, as Goss Harag will leap if you're a bit further away in order to reach you. If you get hit, you will receive a decent chunk of damage and will be knocked down flat. Always recover from this move using a warbag, as it takes a long time for your hunter to recover from the ground, and you're vulnerable to a follow-up attack. The Headbutt. Goss Harag takes a quick step back while lowering its head towards the ground, then immediately makes a small dash in an attempt to hit its target with a headbutt. This move does little damage and does not stop weapon attacks. Be careful though, as it can be comboed into Fury Swipes. The Fury Swipes. Goss Harag raises both arms above its head, then tries to swipe its target with its claws. This attack deals medium damage. It is also quite fast, so try to dodge it. This move is very commonly used after a headbutt. When the move is finished, Goss Harag will stand tall for a second, flexing on its muscles. This gives us a small opening for attacks. The Pirouette. Goss Harag twists its upper body before spinning with its arms in a 100-degree angle. It will use this move twice in a row. If you get hit by any of these, you will be thrown off, along with some decent damage. If you dodge the initial swipe, stand your ground, as the second one will probably miss. The ground swipe. Similar to Magnamalo's ground slice, Goss Harag places its claws on the ground, then slices it in a small crescent. This move deals medium damage and will knock you down. The Crevice. Goss Harag slams both of its hands on the ground with force, sending a shockwave in front of it that reaches pretty far. If this move connects, its target will be thrown airborne, along with a decent chunk of damage. Make sure you use a warbag to recover. The Jumping Crevice. Goss Harag will feign a headbutt, then will immediately jump very high off the ground, while spinning 180 degrees mid-air to face its target. On landing, it performs a Crevice. Be careful, as this move gets Goss Harag out of your camera range. Be ready to dodge, and try to have an eye on it when it jumps. The Ice Throw. This move is so rare, you will barely see it when fighting this monster. Goss Harag tries to hit you with an icy rock it grabs from the floor beneath. It doesn't deal much damage, and it's not common that you get hit by this. So now that we mentioned its weaponless moves, let's quickly talk about the Ice Beam. Right after its angry roar, or whenever you disarm it of its ice weapons, Goss Harag will keep some distance from you and throw a beam of ice from its mouth, striking vertically from the bottom up, then another one horizontally, usually from its left to the right. The first beam is easy to dodge by rolling or running to the side. The second one can be vaulted over using a warbag, aiming high up. Right after the beams, Goss Harag will breathe ice into its arms, equipping them with ice weapons. In low rank, the first time it gets mad, it will equip one ice blade, and when on lower HP, it will equip two. In high rank, whenever it is angry, it will equip its arms with two blades, or one blade and an ice block. Now that we got this out of the way, let's carry on with its weapon moves. The Guillotine. This is a combo attack. Goss Harag lifts its blade high up, then slams it hard on the ground. If you're further away, it will run towards you trying to hit you. This move deals heavy damage and pins you flat on the ground. If you don't use the warbag to recover, you might get hit by another attack. This will most likely result in a feint. If Goss Harag uses its left weapon to do this move, then it will always combo into a follow-up move with its right weapon. We will discuss the follow-up moves soon. If Goss Harag has an ice block on its left arm, it will cast this move only once, with its right hand. The Double Guillotine. Goss Harag lifts its left blade up before smacking it on the ground, then takes a small step and casts this move yet again, this time with its right blade. If you get hit by the first slam, always use your warbag to recover, as you will fall flat on the ground before feinting from the upcoming second slam. Right after you successfully dodge the second slam, you can land some heavy damage, since Goss Harag takes a lot of time trying to lift its weapon from the ground. The Side Chop. This is a combo attack. Goss Harag stretches its arm to the side and attempts to strike its target with a horizontal chop. This attack is quick and can be either cast twice with both weapons or linked to a guillotine. Goss Harag will always leap or run towards you to reposition in order to land this attack. Get hit and you will be knocked back while suffering medium damage. The Ground Puncture. This is a combo attack. Goss Harag lifts its shoulder and elbow up, then pierces the ground in front of it. The blade gets deep into the ground, so if you dodge this, make sure to attack it before it's unplunged. This skill can be linked to a left-hand guillotine. The Bait Rush. Goss Harag feigns a ground puncture without actually shoving its blade to the ground in order to trick you. After this, it immediately turns towards your direction, performing 3 swift attacks with both of its weapons. This move is fast and deals heavy damage. Make sure you pay close attention to its body language. After the 3-hit combo, it stands still for a small period. Go in and deal some damage. The Ground Rake. Goss Harag twists its body before swiping the ground in a crescent around it. It covers a little over a half circle, so you can be hit even when positioned behind it. You can avoid this move by dodging to the side the blade is coming from, or simply by rolling further away, as this move keeps the monster immobile. The Blade Pirouette. Goss Harag curls up and prepares to strike. After a moment of calm, it performs a 360-degree spin while striking twice with both weapons. You can stay safe by positioning right behind it or further away. Get hit though, and you will say goodbye to a good chunk of your HP, as well as getting knocked backwards. If you get hit by the first strike, wait on the floor instead of using a wirefall. After the strikes, it is vulnerable for a small amount of time, so you can land some attacks. The Scrap Throw. Goss Harag places its hands behind its body, before throwing fragments of its weapon towards its target. It will always throw one scrap for each weapon equipped. This move has a long range, and it deals medium damage, while knocking you off your feet. It is pretty easy to dodge, if you roll right after the scraps emerge from its weapon. The Scrap Crevice. Goss Harag throws 2 scraps from its weapons, similar to the scrap throw, but this time, instead of moving, its legs are completely still. Also, the scraps are thrown in a quicker succession. After the throw, Goss Harag smacks its arms hard on the ground, sending a shockwave towards its target's direction. Get hit by the scraps, and you will fall on the ground. Get hit by the crevice, and you will be knocked high in the air. The Last Resort. Goss Harag throws 3 scraps of ice towards its target, before ultimately flinging its weapons as well. The first 2 scraps come in a quick succession, followed by a slower scrap, followed by the ice weapons. While Goss Harag performs this move, don't try to attack, as it can track your movement and deal a lot of damage. Wait until it finishes throwing all 5 of these projectiles. Then you have a good window to attack, since right after this move, Goss Harag growls in place while its hands go from red to their natural color again. It's common for it to change areas right after this move as well, so after dealing some damage, you have time to sharpen your weapon, heal up, and continue handling it. Great, we covered all of its moves. Now let's give some actual tips on how to make this fight even easier. Goss Harag might seem unstoppable when it is equipped with the ice weapons, but you can actually use them to your advantage. After dealing enough damage, the weapons break. First in half, flinching Goss Harag, then completely breaking. If you break any of its 2 weapons, the beast will fall on the ground, removing the secondary weapon, as well as giving you some time to attack it. Always go in and deal damage when this happens. Goss Harag can inflict Ice Blight with its beam, weapons, and the scraps it throws. Ice Blight makes our wirebugs recover much slower, making the hunt more difficult. Make sure to bring nullberries with you when hunting this monster. Nullberries remove blights and are a very useful item to have at all times. Don't play very aggressive. Unless you are very familiar with this monster, if you go too deep, you will be punished hard. All fanged beasts have very aggressive playstyles, and it is best to let them finish certain combos before going in for the punish. Give this fight some time until you are familiar with Goss Harag's moves, and maybe keep some wirebugs to escape unfortunate situations. If you're still having a hard time, simply run around while dealing little damage here and there. Eventually, Goss Harag will exhaust itself from all of its attacks, and will move very slowly. You can use this as an opportunity to deal a lot of damage. Keep in mind that it cannot get exhausted when enraged, and after the exhaustion ends, it will always turn red and angry again. Lastly, this isn't really a tip, but a funny observation. When a hunter is stunned, Goss Harag will perform a special animation where it slowly approaches a stunned hunter before slamming down on them with its ice sword. It looks pretty cool. That sums it up for our Goss Harag guide. I hope this helps you guys overcome this ferocious beast. The next video will be about Valstrax, since he came out last patch, and I know is a hard monster to beat for a lot of you, including myself. Make sure to leave a like if you found this video useful, subscribe for more content, and ring the bell to be notified about new videos. Until then, stay safe.